This is the season finale of Sister Wives, Season 6, Episode 7.
A dramatic reenactment.
The worst season ever. Okay, I want to start off right off the bat. Going into this on Twitter, everybody has all of these, I won't say conspiracy theories because it's a little too far-fetched, but it will say theories on what really happened. One of the theories was that this was a dramatic reenactment. They had no intention of explaining the divorce and marriage, but when it came out on the tabloids about a month ago, they went back and filmed it and all that. I don't think there's any way we can tell what happened except to say that we know for a fact more happened than we saw in this episode. This entire episode was one huge infomercial selling you on the Brown family legal restructuring. And they kept saying how this is no big deal, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to change. But then everybody's crying, okay? If you were like filling out your kid's like permission form and you're like, oh, well, normally we put Aunt Lucy to come get the kids if we're unavailable, but she moved out of town, so we're going to get, Aunt Martha. We wouldn't cry and mourn. Like, it's no big deal. So either it is a big deal or it isn't. So definitely we need to talk in the comments. I have a lot of theories, but none that I can prove. So let's get right into the episode. We start out with Meri explaining why this divorce is. And the reason she explains that she gives is so that Cody can adopt. And right off the bat, I'm like, you can't just adopt someone else's kids. He can't become the kid's legal father if they have a legal father unless the father gives up his rights, right? And I kind of, and we eventually find out that's exactly the case. The father has to give up his rights and he still sees the kids. So, because at Christmas, the kids, they had to celebrate Christmas late because they were with their father. I don't know about all the allegations. Someone was like, oh, well, he's related to Warren Jeffs. I'm thinking, well, they're all polygamists. Admittedly, Warren Jeffs is in a little different category. But, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think legally the judge is going to be like, Anyway, so they're giving this, and she's saying that she did it all on her own. That she's been thinking about this in her head. I don't think that's likely. This is probably one of those things where in the family they had hypothetically at some point discussed if Cody ever could marry Robin, they could do this. It's not like it came out of left field. I just don't believe that it was never discussed and only Meri was thinking about it. I'm sure it somehow came up. I don't know how much. I don't know how much this was scripted ahead of time and they were like, okay, we need to do it this way so that people understand how polygamy works. Because the whole thing was like, spin, 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 let's make this look as good as possible. Did you want to add anything?
It was an awful episode.
Okay.
I'm really upset at Bravo for making me sit through it.
It wasn't Bravo, though. It's really
you.
cute. It was me, but it's not on Bravo.
Somebody needs to start paying me for this crap.
Anyway, so she calls over Cody and Robin and tells them. And, of course, Robin cries. And then, of course, Cody's like, well, let's just be really clear. Nothing is changing. And I'm like, okay, that felt like deliberate. You know what I mean? Then they have an all-wives meeting. And my first thought is it's super shady that they're always talking about the family, making decisions for the family. Okay? But then for the legal restructuring of their family, they don't talk to half of the family. They don't talk to half of the wives. Like, that just seemed really weird. My prediction was Christine's going to have a fit and Janelle's going to be like, whatever.
And you were wrong.
I was horribly wrong, which makes me think that it was scripted because I don't think... So they tell Christine, scripted. And Christine, like, runs over and is like, oh, that's so wonderful. Oh, Meri. Oh. That's so, I'm so happy. And Janelle just sits there and doesn't say anything for like a long time, which, I like Janelle a lot. I don't necessarily think that she's always made the brightest decisions.
She married Cody after all. Yeah,
that's kind of the decision I'm thinking of. But... And I think most viewers like Janelle the most. That she seems the most straightforward, the smartest. She kind of hangs back. But anyway, she doesn't say anything. And eventually, at some point, she goes, oh, our taxes. Because clearly she does all the taxes in the family. Couldn't you have waited to the new year?
You need a wife for that.
And she does. Oh, that is a good idea. And eventually you actually hear a producer off camera say, Janelle, is there anything you want to say? And she goes, no comment. And I'm like, hallelujah, the only real moment in the entire episode right then. Mm-hmm. That was 100% what she was feeling. That was real. I don't know. I won't vouch for anything else in the entire episode that happens. And she just is like, this is going to change things. And we're like, and I'm kind of mixed because on one hand, yeah, I think it's going to change things. On the other hand, he already favors Robin. So pretty sure that's going to continue. Anyway, she's really quiet. So the next day she wants to have Cody over to discuss with him to clear the air. And my first thought is, why does she need to clear the air with Cody? He wasn't even there. Right? I don't know if she's just making sure to communicate.
He's the puppet master.
Well, the thing I'm wondering is, was it A, to communicate to the viewers, give her an opportunity to explain what she was feeling? B, knowing that Cody's going to eventually see the footage, wanting to explain it to him. You know, when everything's filmed, you kind of go, okay.
Oh, it was staged.
Or you just think it was like, we need to make sure to the viewers, you know, you didn't react as well as you should have. You know, do you want to explain it? Anyway, and she talks about the kids and they're almost kind of sometimes a little creepy when they talk about keeping the kids in the family. Like, it's a little at times.
A little clannish.
It's a little weird. I mean, but it's also just weird because I'm pretty sure if he has a biological parent, they're not going to give it to the rest of the family. That's not even, that's just a legal thing.
From what I hear, what they're going to do is bargain with him. Well, you're not going to pay child support, and we won't pursue that. You get out of that. Just give up your parental rights.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is the deal. I keep talking about how nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. It's a spiritual marriage. We all have a spiritual marriage. Like if I went to an island with John that was some foreign island, and I just signed some paper that said that they were going to legally take our marriage, but nothing would change, and I still believe we were married. You know, like he's like, I'm not mad at the government for making us do this, and I'm like, what? You know, when my parents changed the executor to their will to a child who lived closer to them, it wasn't a big deal. It was like, oh, okay, right? I don't think anyone else knew, but it wasn't a big deal for me. Anyway.
It might have been to your other siblings.
I don't know if they know.
How they reacted when you told them.
I don't think we told them.
You did.
I told one.
Yeah, and she told the other.
I don't think they heard.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, I hope no family's watching this. This might be an awkward way to bring up the discussion. But my point is that
you should edit that out.
I don't think we can. Either it is a big deal or it isn't a big deal. But to tell us for an hour it's not a big deal that we're getting a divorce, and then to have Meri and Robin crying through the whole thing.
And then drag out the episode for an hour and a half.
No, it was not. It was just an hour. So they sign the legal divorce, and she's crying, and Robin's crying, and everyone's crying, and they're supporting each other.
And the poor lawyer's like...
Yeah, the lawyer's like, yeah, okay. I'm just getting my paycheck. So anyway, I don't really understand it. I would like to hear what you think really happened. Was that all real? Was it all staged? I've heard every reason under the sun for why they're really getting divorced. I've heard tax fraud because it's going to pay her a big alimony that they can then write off. But of course, it would all be within the family, so it would just be churning money around. I've heard that it's so the kids can get insurance, which I don't even understand how that could be a possibility with the new insurance laws. I'm pretty sure they're covered. They can get insurance regardless. I've heard it's so that Meri can be a single mother and get better grants. I've heard it so the kids can get blah, blah, blah. I've heard it because Robin moved out and said that if she didn't get some of the first wife rights, she wasn't going to come back to the family because she was mad about Meri going back to school. And that was the other weird thing, is that Christine and Janelle said, when we sat down, we thought Meri was going to tell us she was going back to school. And I thought, didn't she tell everyone that like a year ago? Like last season? So I don't even understand. So anyway, hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you thought happened. I don't know if we're going to do the tell-all episode. Cody's been whining. I don't even know if I'm in frame. Cody's been whining all week about how I almost quit the show because of the backlash about my PMS remarks. I'm thinking, really? That's the only time he's ever experienced backlash on the show?
He has PMS more than any woman I've ever met in my life.
He is not PMS. That is just the nature of who he is. And he's a bad person.
He's just a little bitch.
No, don't use feminizations as insults. Pick something non-gendered.
Sorry.
He's
And on that bombshell,
a whiny small child of non-genderness. Something. No.